Hello, and welcome to the Modern Day Intuitive Podcast. I am Sarah Noble, a certified shamanic energy medicine practitioner, somatic embodiment coach, Akashic record reader, spiritual mentor, and teacher of energy management and meditation. This podcast is born from my passion to help you reconnect with your heart and intuition. In each episode, you'll hear me channel guided spiritual information for a guest around a specific question or decision in their life. Afterwards, I break down the call so you can better understand how to connect with your own intuitive gifts, your spirit guides, and soul family. I will also give you practical exercises and tools that you can use to deepen your understanding of how to use this in your day-to-day life. Now, without further ado, let's get on to our caller. Hi, Amber. Welcome to the podcast. What's your question today?
My question is, what's blocking me from moving forward in my coaching business?
Okay. So you're showing me sort of this spiral, and the spiral at the moment is going downwards. And there's an image of a slide, and this idea that right now you are caught sort of in this downward spiral, and it's around believing in yourself and what you're capable of doing. So last year, you're showing me that you were sort of in this upward spiral where you were learning and growing and connecting and communicating. And as that kind of drew to an end, you've slowly allowed that energy to start taking you down the other way. And so let's just have a look at what is creating that for you. So you're leading me into your heart, and you're showing me a door, and there's a doorstep. So it's interesting. You're standing outside the door wanting to come in. And then there's another part of you that's standing on the other side of the door and is saying, I'm not quite ready for you to come in yet. I'm scared. I'm afraid. You're at an edge state. And that edge state is that old version of us is coming to the point where we're pushing up against the new version of us that we've created of ourselves, and the old version is feeling scared to step into the new reality that the other version has created, just due to the fact that it's unknown. And so you're pushed up against this edge state. Your old self is just really having trouble reconciling with this new self that you've created. And it's actually it's giving me this really warm, lovely sensation, because both these parts of you really want to connect. I feel like this friendship is what the energy is reading as. If you can bring this idea of friendship towards these two parts and unite them in a way where they're supporting each other, helping each other, caring for each other, like friends would, it's going to make it so much easier for the old belief systems with this older version really be able to embrace the new self, the becoming, like who you are becoming. It's going to help those two parts of you connect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Just to get to that point of being able to transition that, and that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. It's like I feel like there's this new part of me that's out there, and I feel it, I see it. I just can't get there right now.
When you think about that and you say that, what emotion comes up for you?
Right then, it was sadness. Sometimes it's excitement, because I know it's possible, that it's out there, and I feel it and know it and see it, but I'm stuck in the right now, and I just can't bridge that gap, or can't, I don't, there's that block there, but it does make sense. That it's a friendship, because I feel that friendship. It's this kindness and this warm energy, as you said.
Mhm. What's the sadness piece? What are you sad about exactly?
Because I'm not there yet. I'm
Okay.
not I'm not or it's not even, I don't even feel like this moment that it's forward movement in that direction. Like it's It's there are steps that I know that I can take, that I would feel like, okay, one more step, closer and closer, the vision of standing at the door and just I'm right there that I can step over into the new me, that seems so much closer than I feel at times.
Yeah. Would you be open to trying just a little exercise?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So if it feels good, close your eyes. And I'd like you to imagine that door and see yourself, you who you are becoming, this newer version of you that is excited about the possibilities and has the education and the training and all the tools needed to really exist in this new space. See her on one side of the door. And then on the other side of the door, see the version of you that's feeling scared, the one that is a little bit trepidatious about coming through this door and joining you on the other side. And I'd like you to embody newer side, who you are becoming part. And I'd like her to reach out and open that door and look at that older version of yourself, the one who's afraid. And imagine yourself reaching out your hand to her and welcoming her through the door into this beautiful new life that you've created for you both. If it feels good, maybe hug her, maybe do a little celebration dance with her, something that really makes her feel welcome, that she belongs, that she is part of this new life, that she doesn't need to be afraid, that you've got her back. You're really her friend, like her true friend who's going to take care of the situation. How does that feel?
Feels good, and what comes to mind is you are ready. It just this I'm ready. I just need to come in. I've done the work. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot, and I'm ready. And not to be scared anymore, and to step in and lean into it because we are friends. We are friends, and I felt a warm hug, and then happiness and celebration, with music
Mm.
comes to mind because you can't become your new self without loving your old self.
Beautifully put. Is there anything else she would like to hear or needs to hear from you?
What comes to mind is we got this. you know, I mean, I have all these friends that are knowledgeable, that love me. I have myself and everything that I've been through, and all the tools that I've learned along the way, to help me when I don't know things, because that's, I guess, probably one of the biggest fears is not knowing what direction. But I feel there's an intuition, in me that I'm led by, and there's just lots of love. There's lots of love there that I feel in this room that I'm now in.
Yeah, I can feel it. It feels very like sparkly and
Mhm.
celebratory and there's a lot of excitement. Like I can feel the difference in her now that she's on that other side of the door with you.
Yeah.
She feels ready too. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. That's all I needed. Just a little bit of encouragement."
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and you can just sort of fade out of that memory or that experience and open your eyes if you like. And then where would you like to go from here?
I really, am very happy, and I feel really good and excited, and I just know there are all these good things out there waiting for me, so I'm ready.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask at the moment?
There's not anything right now that's coming to me. I think that I just needed that validation that it's okay, that I can step over and that I'm ready. It's just strange that that's what it's taken, is that just that confidence in myself and just to know that I'm ready.
Hmm. Yeah, that's I'm excited for you to see all you're going to create and what you're going to bring to the world.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I definitely needed this. Definitely did.
I loved this call with Amber today. She was so ready to cross the threshold. She just didn't quite know how to step into this new version of herself. And the feeling from the beginning of the call to the end of the call was really noticeable with this shift from her uncertainty into this place of supporting herself, loving herself, and being ready to step forward into what she was creating for herself. One of the first things that Amber showed me was spirals related to how she was managing her energy. And it brings up this topic of how we're energetic beings and how far we've stepped away from that and believe that we're only physical beings. Yet, not only are we physical beings, we have a mental body, an emotional body, an etheric body, a spiritual body, and all of these combine to make us a spiritual being having a human existence. And energy plays a big role in how we are able to connect to our intuition because the more embodied we are, the more in our own energy we are, the more we can hear what our intuitive guidance is telling us because we're not distracted, we're not compartmentalized, we're not pulled into everyone else's energy around us, losing the sense of who we are. Sort of where we end and where others begin becomes very muddled and blurred. And in that space, it's very hard to hear what our own intuitive wisdom, our internal guidance is trying to tell us because there's so much distortion. So, having a daily practice that calls our energy back to us and gives other people back their own energy is a very profound practice when we are learning to connect more deeply with our own intuitive guidance. When I was first connecting in with Amber, there was a lot of uncertainty on her part of what she was doing, where she's going, and how she was going to get there. And uncertainty is another beautiful tool that we can use to our own advantage as we are moving into this deeper relationship with spirit and our intuition. When we can really lean into uncertainty rather than clamp down, become anxious, become more controlling, more needing to know what's happening, that way of being disconnects us from our intuition. It takes us more into our mind and into this idea that we need to control everything to feel safe. Whereas when we can actually really let go and surrender and lean into our uncertainty, we create the space that spirit can come in and fill. And through that process, we can become more connected with the parts of us that trust, that have faith, and that know deep inside us that everything is going to be okay. And from that space, we can begin to have more of an understanding of what our intuition is telling us because it's not covered up by fear and anxiety and all these other negative emotions that take the place of this more solid space of allowing spirit to work in our lives. Another beautiful part of this reading that came forward was this idea of friendship that Amber was creating within herself. And I have found the more self compassion, the more love, the more gratitude that we shower upon ourselves, the louder our intuition can speak to us. It almost creates this channel into our internal wisdom when we really, really can hear ourselves, can see ourselves, and can love ourselves in a way that nobody else can. So often we go looking outside ourselves for other people to fill those roles. We want people to love us, see us, hear us, yet we're not even able to do that for ourselves. And so even when other people are seeing, loving, and hearing us, we don't even recognize it because we're so caught in not being able to do it for ourselves. So, the more that we can create this relationship inside ourselves that nourishes us, nurtures us, supports us, it creates the space for our intuition to flow through us in this beautiful, safe, secure environment that we make inside our bodies. I also wanted to touch on this idea of reality connected to our beliefs. Amber was in a space of not believing in herself that she knew what she needed. Yet, when she really went inside herself, she realized that she did know. She was ready. She was her own friend. She had so much love and support. It just took bringing her awareness to it. And what that brings up is this idea about how our belief systems create our reality. Our external world is a reflection of our internal world and the beliefs that we hold about how the world works. And when we can shine a light on the stories we hold, the beliefs we hold, and how they're limiting us and holding us back, we can create so much freedom from the parts of ourselves that are afraid to move forward. We can truly step into a new reality that we create as we dismantle these old beliefs and put new ones in their place. Another beautiful tool that connects us to our intuition is our emotions. When I connected in with Amber about the emotions that were coming up for her, it was a gateway to help her step through and become unstuck. She connected in with this sadness, and that sadness ended up helping her see that she had so much support and love, and that it was just this old belief system, these emotions that she was holding on to that really were messengers for her to help her step through that doorway. That exercise we did around her edge state and having her step through the door into this new version of who she is becoming allowed her to use her emotions to move through what she was experiencing and allow her to befriend herself on the other side. This connecting in with our emotions is a beautiful way that we can support ourselves. Instead of looking outside of ourselves for someone to soothe us, we look inside and we use those emotions, we connect with them, and we ask them, what do they need? How are you here to help me? And through that, Amber was able to get to this other side of these emotions and be more in the love and the joy that she is creating in her life. I just wanted to mention about edge states and give a little bit of deeper understanding of what an edge state might look like for you. As we grow, as we change, as we connect more with our intuition, we're shifting and changing and creating new realities, new outcomes for our life. And what can happen is the part of us that is shifting and changing can be concerned about what is on the other side. And so there's almost this physical thing that happens within us that we push up against this wall where we know we want to be on the other side. We know we can, and yet this older, more fearful part of us is just holding us back because, again, it's uncertainty on the other side. So, as we lean into that uncertainty and as we learn to trust that uncertainty is not something that we have to run from, it's something that we can lean into, our intuition is allowed to come forward in that space and helps pull us across that line and into this new version of who we are becoming. I love at this point how Amber says you can't become your new self without loving your old self. And that is just such a beautiful, wise thing to recognize. The more love we can give to ourselves, the more we cherish ourselves and nourish ourselves, we become a whole being. And when we're a whole being, we create this container that our intuition can live and thrive in with so much more passion and room for self-expression. One of the ways we can help ourselves step forward and be more connected with our intuition is by the practice of being okay exactly where we are. When we find ourselves always desiring, always pushing forward, always looking for what we don't have and what we want, We forget about this beautiful space that we're in right now. And it might not look beautiful all the time, yet the more we can embrace this present moment, this experience, this life that we live in, this version of who we are, the easier it is for us to move forward into the space we want to be in. There's a quote from Hafiz that I love, and it says, "The place you are right now, God circled on the map for you." And I find that the more I come back to that, the more I come back to who I am in this moment, there's so much more space for me to hear my internal wisdom and know what my heart wants me to do moving forward, not just what I think I want, but it comes from this place of knowing what I want at a real deep heart level. Experiencing Amber's transformation in this call was really something beautiful to witness, which really brings together, I think, the theme for this call, which is about loving ourselves, connecting with ourselves, having compassion for ourselves so that our intuition has a place to live inside us that isn't full of unprocessed emotions and cravings and numbing techniques and whatever else it is in our life that we use to distract ourselves. But it's about coming home to our heart, to our center, to the essence of who we are as a being. And from that place, our ability to connect in with who we are becomes so much more possible. In closing today, I just want to thank Amber for her willingness to be coached and to be guided through this beautiful process of connecting with herself and really being ready and into this space of, in her words, "We've got this." Thank you, Amber, and to everyone listening today. If you would like more information on how I open and close my readings and put in place protections for us, please check the show notes where you can download my tutorial on setting a sacred container. Thanks so much for tuning in today and making your personal and spiritual growth a priority in your life. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd love if you could please leave a 5-star review, as it helps the show to grow and assists me on my mission of having intuition be a part of everybody's life. For more information on reconnecting with your heart and intuition, head on over to my website, www.themodernDayIntuitive.com, where you can listen to free meditations, sign up to be a guest on the podcast, learn how you can work with me in person, find links to my social media platforms, and much more. And a big thank you from my heart to yours for making the planet a better place by having the courage to look inward to develop your intuition.